Filming.
Okay, hey, welcome back. Today we're gonna make a carbonara. I have a guest filmer today. He's a good friend of mine, Jesse Nakano. Carbonara is something like super simple that I think you make for, pasta is kind of like you make for someone you love kind of thing. I love Jesse, so we're gonna make carbonara. It's a super simple dish. We're gonna make kind of brunchy. I'm gonna poach an egg on top, just for a little extra protein. Yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I got some dried pasta. It's like pretty early, so if you really want to go all out for dinner and make your own pasta, feel free, because this is first thing in the morning. Nobody wants to make fresh pasta first thing in the morning. So I got quite a bit of water in here. I always say this, but you want about 4 times the water for the amount of pasta you're cooking. I'm gonna do about 3 tablespoons of sea salt in that. You want it to taste about as salty as the ocean. Make sure it's at a pretty vigorous boil. You don't want this like simmering. And then we're gonna drop in enough for, we're cooking for Kimberly as well, so we're gonna drop in 2 portions right away. We just wanna break them up. The reason you use so much water is so that those noodles don't stick together. Sometimes people will say like put olive oil in the water, but that doesn't work. That just makes your sauce not cling to the pasta. So all you wanna do is make sure you have enough water and that you break it apart and make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. So just periodically over that 6 or 7 minutes, give it a stir. In the meantime, I'm just gonna prep a little herb mix. So you can use whatever herbs you like. I'm actually gonna go a little unconventional. Because this is so creamy, I kinda like some dill, a little bit of parsley, Italian flat leaf parsley. I don't find the curly stuff has too much flavor, so I always use flat leaf. Fresh basil as well. I'm gonna put some black pepper in here. I really like the flavor of black pepper and basil together because basil is quite peppery. So with basil, you just don't wanna eat the stems. And a little trick is take your biggest leaf, you want to like organize them biggest to smallest here and put them all going the same way. Then you can roll them up and then you just work from one side. Basil kind of bruises really easily, so the less cutting you can do on it, the better. And then we'll put that in our container. And we're just going to make this a nice little refreshing mix. Carbonara is very rich, so I kind of like the some nice refreshing herbs on it. And traditionally it is made with bacon, but obviously this is a meat-free household, so we are just gonna do it without. But feel free. All you would do is cook some bacon on the side and fold it in at the end. So dill, same thing. The stems are, you can actually eat dill stems, but they're just kind of more fibrous. They're not as delicate and easy to chew, so I'm just gonna take the nice part off this. And dill's so small and so fine. Again, you don't have to go crazy with the knife on this one. Some people like to pulverize it, but I just like to grab it all, fold it, and just run through it once. And that's it. Just a nice little herb garnish to freshen it up, mix it around. So also while we wait for the noodles to cook, I have the beginning of our sauce here. In here is 2 egg yolks and 1 whole egg. So we just want to whisk these together until they're completely combined. Because there's 1 egg white in there, when you first start mixing it, you'll see they're separate. They need to be completely the same. And when they sit, that egg white needs to not show up. They need to be completely smooth. So just whisk it for about a minute. We're all combined. If you pull on it, there's no like whites, Everything is the same. So then we're just gonna season this with a bit of black pepper, a Pecorino Romano cheese. So I like to grate it really fine so that it melts quick. So I use a microplane. I would suggest that, or if you have a box grater, just use the finer side. And you want to be pretty liberal with the cheese. I'm only making 2 portions, and I'm honestly probably going to use like a 1/4 cup of cheese. Those are perfect. They're not quite done. They're al dente. And so I'm going to drain these because I want to finish cooking them in the sauce. What I do when I drain pasta is I just put something under it because I want to save some of this pasta water. So I'll just put it so that under my strainer I catch a bunch of pasta water. All this water is seasoned with salt, and then also it has all the starch from these noodles, so it will thicken your sauce. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of this. I'm going to turn this over medium heat now. And I'll start with like a cup. And this is how quick this sauce comes together. Also, in the meantime, because this is gonna come together so quickly, I'm gonna poach an egg. So I have some water boiling. I have a tiny bit of vinegar in there, and you just wanna crack, well, the real way to do this is actually, I'll do it the proper way. You're supposed to crack it into something first. You know, I'm used to being in a restaurant where we're quite busy, so a lot of times you don't have time to do this, but you're supposed to crack it in, make sure you don't break it. And then some people like to swirl it. I don't really find the swirling thing works. I honestly find that just enough vinegar being in the water is what will keep the white together. I also ran out of vinegar, so there's only like a teaspoon in there, so this might not work that well. And we'll just let that poach. And in order to grab it, you just need a slotted spoon, because obviously we don't want to bring up that water and put that water all over our pasta. I got all this cheese. I'm just gonna lightly whisk that together. And with some of this pasta liquid, I'm gonna just slowly drizzle this in. And this is to temper the eggs. So what happens is if you put this directly in there, those eggs will scramble. You need to water them down so that they don't scramble. And you also need to bring them up to temperature with a little bit of this hot pasta liquid. There's tons of different ways people do carbonara. Some people do it directly in the bowl. To me, this is the best technique to like play with the consistency. Because some people like it thicker, some people like it a little bit runnier. Okay, so we're just gonna slowly add this. And then I'm gonna add some more cheese in here just while that comes up to temp. Oh, see, we're like already thick. So you really wanna pay attention to this part, because you'll wanna like be taking it off heat. Maybe you wanna put it back on heat. You just don't wanna cook it too long. You don't wanna cook those eggs into a scramble. So right now we have like velvety, it looks like a cream sauce. That's like exactly what it should look like. If you need to thin it out, you can add some more pasta water, or you can, if you didn't use all that, you can use some of that. If you want to thicken it up, you can add more cheese, and you can also finish it with some butter. This is like technically carbonara, you're not supposed to put butter in, but we're going to today. I'm just gonna finish it with like just a tiny bit of butter. And we'll fold that in there. And we'll just let that butter slowly melt while we get our plate ready. Also, you can check your seasoning now. The cheese that I used is pretty salty, so just be aware of that, especially if you're using Parm. If you're using Parmesan cheese, you may need to season everything else a little bit less. And then I just want to make a little well for our egg. And then I'm going to season that egg, of course. A little bit of black pepper. Nice flaky sea salt on top of that egg, and a little bit on the pasta as well. Of course, just to make it look good, we're going to hit it with a bunch more cheese. And then our herbs. I really like to be kind of generous with the herbs. Give the plate a wipe. Jesse's one of the few people that's comfortable being on camera, so he's actually going to eat this and tell you if it sucks or not.
All right, let's see.
So first bite, this is a very classic pasta dish. I'm sure you've had this before, but
I actually don't know if I have had this before, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
With you. Yeah.
This is like one of the most classic.
Okay, this is my second poached egg today, dude. That's pretty good.
What do you taste?
The basil and the dill really
It's nice, hey?
bring it home. Boy, am I sure glad I didn't get sushi on Main Street. Mmm. That is good.
If you eat that, do you miss meat? For real?
I actually wouldn't want bacon in this, dead serious.
For real?
Yeah, 100% serious.
You want to do the outro?
Hey guys, thanks for supporting my friend Nathan Gore and his Concerned Mother Vegetarian Cooking Tips YouTube channel. Trust me, this guy, he's trustworthy, he knows his stuff, he's funny, you gotta love this guy. You hit that subscribe button now. He needs more subscribers. Anyways, hit the thumbs down, or hit the, see ya!